What's going on, guys? Jacob Ober here. A couple days ago, the NFL released the full 2020 schedule for every single team, and the Packers' schedule was obviously released as well. And I went through the schedule with you on the day that it was released. I did not make any predictions. I wanted to save that for a different video, and this is the video where I'm going to go through every single game and give you a prediction of what I think the outcome of the game will be. So we'll start with Week 1 here at Minnesota. God, I really want to say we win this one. I think we do. I'm going to go with a win against Minnesota on the road. You know, I feel like we exercised that demon playing at US Bank Stadium last season when we won the division there. I think we win that one. Week 2 against the Lions at home. That's a win. The Lions haven't really significantly improved since last season. Week 3 on the road against New Orleans. Oh. You know, if there's no fans in the stadium at this point, I would say the Packers have a much better chance at winning this game, but I still don't see it with how good New Orleans really is. I mean, I'm going to say we lose that one. Week 4 against the Falcons at home, I think that's a win. The Falcons aren't really that great. They're not terrible, but they're not that great. Week 5 is a bye. Week 6 at Tampa Bay. I really want to say we win this one, but you know what? I'm going to say we do. I'm going to say we win that one. You know, we're going to win at Tampa Bay. There you go. I think Tampa Bay has a great offense, but I think their defense might be a little bit overrated, and Tom Brady obviously isn't as good as he used to be. So I'm going to say the Packers go into Tampa and win that one. That puts the record at 4-1 going into Week 7. And this Week 6 to Week 9 stretch is probably the most difficult stretch of the season for the Packers, so any win they can get during this time is going to be crucial. But I say we beat Tampa and we lose on the road against Houston the following week, Week 7. So that puts the Packers at 4-2 going into the Vikings game at home November 1st. Man, I want to say that we win this one too. I think we're going to win this one too. You know, I sweeping the Vikings 2 years in a row. I mean, with how difficult the Vikings have been against us recently. Still, I see the Packers winning at home. That's going to put the Packers record at, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-2. 5-2 going into Thursday night against San Francisco, and on the road, California. Packers don't play well there. Probably a loss, unfortunately. So 5-3 through the first stretch of the season. Not terrible. They survived the Week 6 through Week 9. They went 500. Coming into Week 10 against Jacksonville, maybe one of the worst teams in the league, I'd say, this season. I think the Packers are obviously going to win that one. Of course, anything could happen, but I think the Packers win that one at home. Week 11 versus Indy. Ooh, at Indy, too. I feel like fans might be back in the stadiums by this time, so that's obviously going to be a much more difficult atmosphere to play in Lucas Oil Stadium. I've been there a few times. It's pretty intense, I would say. I'd say the Packers probably lose that one, which would drop their record to, let's see, 6-4. Then Week 12 against Chicago at home, 7:20, prime time. I think the Packers are a better team than the Bears. I think the Packers are going to win this one, 7-4. Then to the Eagles, Week 13. I say we lose that one. I'm going to say we lose against the Eagles. You know, something about the Eagles sometimes, I don't know. Historically, you know, it just feels like we've never really been that good against them. You know, the Eagles they're not elite team, but they're a pretty good team, and, you know, they certainly have upset potential there. So I'm going to say we lose that one, dropping to 7-5 here for the final 4 games. At Detroit, I think we win that one, although it's going to be, I think, a pretty close game, seeing as how it always is at Ford Field. Week 15 against the Panthers, that's probably a win. Panthers aren't really going to be that good this year. Week 16 against the Titans, that is going to be a good game. It's prime time. It's Sunday Night Football against the Titans. Packers and Titans, two smaller market teams in prime time. That's going to be entertaining. I'm going to say the Packers win that one. Just because, you know, it's at home and it's going to be... Of course, the playing style is probably going to favor Tennessee, but, you know, I just have a feeling, you know, the Packers are probably going to win their final home game. So that would put the record at 10-5 here going into Week 17 against the Bears. If the Packers aren't really playing for anything, then I definitely see us losing this, but I don't know. I gotta say, I think we're gonna win, especially if playoffs are on the line. Week 17, you got Aaron Rodgers on your side. I think the Packers win it. That puts their record at 11-5 for the season, which to me is pretty reasonable. I mean, their schedule is definitely a lot tougher than last season. They have some pretty difficult road games they have to face, but for the most part, I think if the Packers can survive that week 6 through 9 stretch without going 0-4 or even 1-3, they're going to be in pretty good shape because the final portion of the schedule really isn't that great. And I picked the Eagles as the unlikely upset one, but the Packers could very well win that game. They could go 12-4. They could also lose a couple of these games I predicted them to win. At Tampa Bay, that's a pretty bold one. At Chicago, that could also be a pretty bold one, depending on how good the Bears are this year. I think they're a pretty big question mark right now. But, we'll have to see what happens. And, I hope that they have the season this year. I really do. I'm not certain that it's going to work with fans, at least for the first part of the schedule. But hopefully we can get everything cleared up as soon as possible so we can get, the full football experience. But obviously the safety of people is the number one priority for a lot of sporting events. And if you can't have a game with any sort of fans there without endangering those fans, then I would agree. Not having fans is probably a good idea. But, I'm just so bored without sports. I just want some sort of sports left. I just need something at this point, and this is pretty, the fact that we're getting a full schedule does give me a bit of hope that the NFL feels like they can have the full season. So anyways, guys, though, that's all I have to say in this video. Leave a comment in the comments section below. I'd love to hear what your guys' record prediction for the Packers is this season. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, @OberSports1512, and on Instagram, username Jacob_Ober, and I'll see you guys next time. Go Pack, go.